Good morning and welcome to Heartland Outdoor Living. This morning we're going to be going over saddle hunting, public land here in Oklahoma. And I'm going to give you kind of a brief pros and cons list of our experience. And this is after one full season of using the saddle to hunt with here in our great state of Oklahoma. So let's get to the video. Good morning, and again, thanks for tuning in to Heartland Outdoor Living. We're going to do a real quick video, and this is going to be basically the pros and cons of using a saddle to hunt public land here in Oklahoma. And I'm going to real quickly go through my pack, what I carry, and what we were hunting with this past season. And we don't really plan on changing it up much. However, we are going to add another tool to the arsenal, and that'll be another video. But again, this is the Bear Super Grizzly, and we're just using regular shafts and broadheads, and this is the saddle right here. Now again, this saddle right here is one that I personally made last year. We tried to order a couple of different ones, and getting late summer when I actually kind of discovered what saddle hunting was and started getting into the idea of it and thinking that it would be a good tool for us, the back order list was way too long, and I didn't look like I was going to be able to get anything saddle-wise before season even started. So what I did was I made my own. This is a saddle, and it's based off of a design that I found on the Saddle Hunter forum. You can go over there, and there's tons and tons of information. But I made the little bag here. This carries my tether. On the other side, I've got the climbing rope to assist when you're climbing, and then this is actually the bridge. And the way this works, guys, and this again, it's not going to be a how to use the saddle video. This is just kind of a real quick video on saddle hunting here in Oklahoma and our success with it. So basically, like I say, this is going to be an adjustable belt that clips on, and this is going to be basically this, and this tether is going to be what's holding you up in a tree. So this up here is going to be wrapped around the tree, then you hook on. So this is your loop up to the tree, and then you're basically sitting in the tree, and you're kind of at an angle. So if you look, like the tree would be coming here, and you're hanging from the tree. And I've got some video of me actually hanging in the tree. I think I'm shooting out of it, so I'll kind of show it and give you a little better visual of what you can expect saddle hunting. But again, this is one that I made, and I'm pretty pleased with it. After hunting in it just a handful of times, and maybe even during the pre-season, like way before season even started, I actually went out and practiced with it several times, shooting out of it, the tree, and using the saddle. So I ended up made some knee pads, and I'll bring these up close so you can see them. And then I also ended up making some hip pads, because what I experienced was with the saddle that I made, I'm getting quite a bit of hip pinch, and it actually, after a while, it really it takes some of the fun out of it, because I mean, it gets to the point that it's hurting. So I made the hip pads for that. To get up in the tree, I'm using climbing sticks, and I'm using 3 of them, and then I've got a little cheater on here that gives me another foot, so I can end up getting up about 15 feet in the tree without any kind of stretching or stretching the sticks out. That's just getting me up in the tree, and like I say, 12 foot up, or it's closer to 15 feet, but the bottom of the stand would be 12, so my eye level would be closer to the 3 feet above that, so probably 15 feet. So that's how I'm getting up in the tree, is using the climbing sticks. And then I've modified them, and I'll do another video on the climbing sticks and the mods that we've done to them. So back to the pros and the cons. Number one, probably the number one thing that I really, really like about the saddle hunting, number one is it's probably one of the safest ways to hunt. I've hunted at a lot of tree stands, I've hunted at a lot of ladder stands and stuff like that. And the way that you're connected to the tree from the time that you start climbing up the steps using your lineman's rope, and then getting up to the very top using your tether, you're tied into the tree the whole time. So at most, if you were to fall, you're only going to fall right into the tree. So I mean, that makes it super safe. It's not like you're going to fall 3 feet and then hopefully your harness drag slows down the actual immediate stop. You're just going to fall right into the tree. So if you're a foot away from the tree when you fall, you're falling 6 inches or a foot into the tree. It's not like you're actually going down in height at all. So the safety aspect of it alone was enough to sell me. A lot of you know I do hunt by myself. I'm fortunate enough that I have a wife who loves to camp, fish, that type of stuff, but she's not a hunter, and I would never ask her to do something she's not comfortable with. So I end up spending a great deal of time out in the woods by myself. This to me is probably one of the safest methods to hunt and still be safe. So like anything else, you need to safeguard your safety, but I'm really pleased with how safe this is. So then that brings up the next part. The second pro is going to be, this thing is super lightweight. Between this and this is the little Predator platform. So instead of having a great big stand when you get up into your tree stand, you've got this platform. And this platform is basically what you stand on. And I'll show a video. I think she's got a video looking straight up at me while I'm actually practicing a little bit on the off-grid cabin area. But you can see, you can stand on the platform. There's not a heck of a lot of room, but when you're thinking about it, you really don't need a lot of room to move around. So if you can pretend there's a tree here, and we'll just use a board here for a visual. Let's just say that I'm kind of sitting in this tree like this, and you're the camera. I'm gonna put it over here. So it doesn't take that much, and I can move around and draw around and get around that tree. And then same for the other side. You can actually get around this side real easy without a lot of movement. So that brings up number, I don't know what number it is, but concealment. When you're hunting out of a saddle, your back is not to the tree. For the most part, you're sitting facing the tree. So you're using the tree as concealment, and to me that's a big pro, because a lot of your miscellaneous movement, if you're fiddling with your hands or whatever else, looking to see what time it is, maybe checking, Lord knows we all got our speaking of cell phones, that was perfect timing. I bet you this is an insurance call. Hang on 1 second, they're gonna offer us free insurance. Hello. So anyhow, again, fiddling with your phone or whatever else, you've got the tree for concealment. So that actually works out as a big pro. And then also, one of the other pros to it is extremely mobile. This thing's extremely lightweight. I would say with my backpack, my stuff that I take out for the day, and that's including bottles of water, extra food, stuff like that, because I'll end up staying out for quite some time. I'm probably no heavier than 20-25 pounds, and that's everything that I'm carrying, including the bow and the arrows and the platform and everything. So 25 pounds is not bad. That's including binoculars, the regular backpack, like I say, all the other gear. So being extremely lightweight, that also makes it extremely mobile. One of the things that I really like about this, and I've kind of got it down to a science, we're using my ropes and getting the climbing sticks in position. I can be up in a tree in less than 5 minutes. So if I'm hunting somewhere and I'm seeing a lot of deer movement 60, 80 yards over, hunting with a recurve bow, those deer are totally out of the question. So I've got to get closer to them or somehow get them to me. I don't rely on calls, especially during early season. What I found to be helpful for me is to just get on the deer. So with the lightweight and compactness of this, I can actually climb down, strap everything back down to the backpack, and I can be moving that direction and get set up in another location in a relatively short time. My biggest time frame that I'm using is going to be when I'm heading over there. I'll take my sweet time, and I'm going to be glassing and looking for other movement and make sure I'm not fixing to spook off some other deer. But if I can see an active trail over there, it's silly for me to sit over here with a recurve 80 yards away. So I like the mobility part of it, with it being extremely lightweight. And then having this is just going to be for any tree stand. I like having that height advantage, whether you're sitting in a tree stand or a saddle. I I fiddle around too much. So for me, ground hunting is, especially with a recurve, it's just not going to be that productive because I'm going to fiddle around too much. You can hear my pup over here. He's just chewing the backpack up. I'm doing the same thing constantly. I can't sit still I can, but you know what I'm saying. So I mean, for me to get up there and get up into a tree, there's scent advantages in my mind, and then you've also got the wind in your favor, and then also being up in some cover is some of the things that I really like about being elevated and hunting out of a tree stand or the saddle. So that actually is a pro for both. And then second, or last thing I want to put on there is it's extremely affordable. When you start comparing cost of some of the tree stands, the saddle, if you go to the saddle forum, just Google saddle hunting. There's going to be a couple of brands out there that are going to pop up with saddles for sale. Number one, this late in the season, they're probably all going to be on back order, which is to be expected because everybody waits till the last minute, me included. A lot of times I'll wait till the last minute to try to do something. You're going to be on back order, so if you can get one before the season this year, you're lucky. When I say it's affordable, if you'll go over to the Saddle Hunter Forum, you can log in and you can find the pattern for how to make the saddle. If I can find it, I'll put a link down below, but it might be just easier for you guys to do a little bit of research and decide if that's what you want to do. So with us making our own, I've probably got less than $100, and that's including this Rope Man 1 right here is $50. So I mean, I'm gonna guess no more than $100 in my saddle setup. That's not counting the sticks or the platform, but just the saddle. You can make it yourself for probably less than $100. Now for you that maybe don't have access to some sort of commercial sewing machine and using the heavy duty thread and stuff like that, it's probably going to be a safer option for you to buy one. So I'm not suggesting that everybody's skill levels are different, so that'd be up to you. For us, it ended up being probably cheaper to buy it, but I'll go a step further and say if I had more time and they weren't on back order, I would have just soon ordered one. And that's going to lead me into one of my cons. The number one con that I really had about this for long hunts, and when I say a long hunt, I'm talking 8 to 12 hours in the stand and not getting down and not moving, but staying in the stand almost the entire day, was the extreme amount of hip pinch that I was getting. And I know for any of you guys that are professional saddle hunters or have been doing it all your life, or this wasn't your first year, you're going to say, hey, you can do the adjustment to the bridge height, the tether height, and all this stuff. I made lots of adjustment, guys. I even went as far as to make this is closed foam, and it's double right here, and then it's less down here, so that you still kind of get some curvature and some blood flow. And I still experienced it. So I mean, that's something that as the season went on, it wasn't as bad, but initially starting out with a few long hunts, I was just extremely sore from the get-go. And see if that helps or not. And then the second thing, which is going to be a con, and it's also going to be a pro. When you're up in a normal tree stand, a lot of times it's easy to, and I can give you an example. This last year, if you guys remember, we bought a tree walker. It was a pine and tree stand for the off-grid place because we got a lot of tall pines and it's easy. It's a big platform, lots to move. It is a very quiet tree stand as well, but what ended up happening is I'm up there moving around and I ended up knocking my backpack off and it fell to the ground right when some deer were coming up on me. So the tree stand itself wasn't noisy, it was me. So one of the pros to this is it's a very quiet. All the material I picked out on this is that silent hide type material. It's kind of a brushed twill, I believe is what they call it, or something like that. So I ordered that through another Etsy store. Since we have a store on Etsy, I try to buy stuff from people who have stuff on Etsy, but they had the material. I bought it from them, and it's really quiet and silent. And moving around, and when you're moving around, you can, just visualize this is really quiet, just moving around the tree. So, I mean, that is one of the big pros to this. Once you do get set up, you're up there, you're got the concealment of the tree. If you're lucky enough and you've got more trees behind you to kind of break up your outline and maybe even your foot line and everything else, it just gives you more concealment and breaks up your profile, your overall profile. Well, I told you he was chewing on a backpack. I don't know where he got that, but he just chewed it off something. Okay, so anyhow, the last thing that I want to touch on is this is what they call the Predator platform, and it's sold by a company called Tethered. And I'll give you, since we're doing a year in review on the saddle hunting in Oklahoma, I'll go ahead and I'll do a real quick review on this. Number one, it's really light, it's tight, it's bolted up tight so it doesn't make a lot of noise. I mean, it's not making any noise at all. The only noise would be if you bang this into that. I've got a cure for this as well this year, so luckily that won't be another issue. But the one thing I will say about this is it's got a bolt right here, and let me get up closer so you can see it. There's a bolt right here that you can adjust the tilt of your platform depending on the angle of the tree that you're in. Now when I got it, you could move it with your fingers. Hey, when I got it, you could move it with your fingers. And it's locked up banjo tight now, so you actually have to take a pair of pliers with you out in the field if you want to adjust this in the field, because you're not going to move it with your finger. And then the second thing, and that's why I'm still kind of talking about the pro and the con, the overall quietness of the saddle is there. I mean, it's super quiet. What I did experience with this platform last year, after I'd hunted in it several times, is it's got a squeak to it. And I can't figure out for sure where it is, but all of my weight, and back then I weighed 225, I'm down to 195, so I'll be going in 30 pounds lighter this year. But all the weight, my 200 pounds, was on this, minus the little bit that the saddle's holding you, because I was leaning most of the time or sitting. So they're at most 200 pounds, and that's leaning or whatever weight. Without getting into mathematical equation problem, there's not a ton of weight on this thing, and it baffles me that it would be making so much noise. But it was almost a pop and clicking noise, like maybe this aluminum is cracked somewhere, and it's going to have to be a hairline crack because you can't see it when there's no stress or pressure on it. And the only time it does it's when I'm up in the stand standing on it. So I don't have no way to figure out for sure where it is. I did contact the company last year and said, hey, I'm getting a significant popping noise out of my stand. And I know that everybody's busy, especially last year. It was during hunting season. So with them being busy and everything else, it's been a little over a year, or coming up on a year, since I contacted them, and I have not heard back from them. It's been almost a year and I have not heard back from them. Again, like I say, they're probably busy. So hopefully they'll get time and can actually reply. Maybe there's a fault with this tree stand, I don't know. I don't know. So overall, we'll run through these real quick. Number one, was I successful hunting out of the saddle? Yes, I was. I was able to harvest one of the first deer. Well, it would have been my first deer from saddle hunting this past season. The climbing sticks are extremely quiet. I have no complaints with them, but this thing does pop and make some racket from time to time if you're moving and shifting. And luckily on the deer that I did shoot the one morning, it didn't pop and make a bunch of noise. So I got lucky that day. So again, I feel like this is probably one of your safer options, especially for going out hunting by yourself. It's a good safe option if you've got buddies there as well, but I'm just saying, being tied to the tree, that close to the tree the whole time that you're in the tree, your odds of falling and slipping and getting harmed are so slight that I never once worried. I felt much safer in this than any tree stand I've ever been in, and this is using homemade gear that I made myself. So again, I'd probably have more faith and trust in gear that I purchased from the company. I just didn't have the time to wait. And again, this year I've checked on them, and of course it's late summertime when I'm doing this video. or when I was looking it up, we're 35 days out till October 1st right now. But when I first looked again to see if there was any of these, they're all on back order again. So making your own is still an option. You can still get out and hunt this year if you decide to make your own, or maybe you can find one used for sale on the Saddle Hunter forum. So again, guys, I appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. I hope that this was somewhat beneficial and somewhat helpful, kind of giving you pros and cons of saddle hunting here in public hunting land in the state of Oklahoma. We appreciate all your likes, comments, and subscribes. If you like our video, give us a big thumbs up. And again, get outside, go hunting, enjoy some nature. And man, we enjoy it so much. We try to share it with others. We were able to take a new hunter last year that had never harvested a deer. He got his first deer, and we're taking another one again this year. This will probably be like the 5th year, because I know I've taken a buddy of mine, John. He had never hunted, and I got him on some deer. He was able to get some shots off. And then last year we took Kevin. Kevin got his first deer archery harvest, and this year we're going to be taking another buddy of mine, Ty. So again, not only share the video, share the experience. If you have some friends that you know might be interested, invite them to go along with you. Help them get set up, help them get started. My buddy Ty, I actually helped him get a crossbow. He's never shot a bow before, so he's going to get out there in the woods and try to get started with a crossbow this year. Again, we appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes, and may you have a blessed week.